When a third woman died at a Miami clinic in just 4 years, the authorities seemed willing to kind of let it slide. But when a fourth woman died just 3 weeks later, that finally got their attention. This is Christina with the Sisyphean Journal, and today is January 4th. Now, it was January 4th when Albert got a phone call from a family friend who worked at the emergency room at a Miami hospital. She gave Albert some shocking news. His 33-year-old wife, Shirley, mother of their 3 children, was dead. She had bled to death from an abortion. Albert had responded, "No way, my wife is pregnant." And he called the daycare center and found out that she hadn't picked up the children. Shirley had undergone what she expected to be a safe, legal abortion at Women's Care Center in Miami. She was 16 or 18 weeks pregnant. She suffered a perforated uterus. Dr. Hipólito Barrero, who owned the clinic, made a frantic call to another doctor he knew. I cannot even begin to pronounce his name. Dr. Ipke is as close as I can get. Now, Dr. Ipke had a practice about 10 blocks away from the clinic. Barrero called him saying, "You need to come over. I'm not licensed." Now, Ipke said he hadn't known that Barrero wasn't licensed, went to the clinic to find out what was going on, and he found Barrero attempting to attend to Shirley before calling an ambulance. When the paramedics arrived, they found Shirley with an IV in her arm, lying on a couch, bleeding heavily and with no blood pressure. So Shirley arrived at the hospital in critical condition due to the delay of transfer. Barrero had poked a hole in her uterus and an emergency hysterectomy was performed to try to save her life, but she bled to death during surgery at 5:12 p.m. Barrero had been trained in Argentina and West Africa, but he wasn't licensed in the United States. So when he did Shirley's abortion, he did not document it in the clinic records. He followed Dr. Ipke to the hospital and tracked him down and begged him to take responsibility for Shirley's death. Ipke recorded one of the conversations in which Barrero made this plea, and Dr. Ipke turned it over to the authorities. So Shirley was the second patient to die in that clinic in less than 3 weeks and the fourth to die in less than 4 years. A young woman named Merta had died the previous December, and women named Ruth and Mara had previously died. Now, after Shirley's death, authorities lamented that they were powerless to oversee abortion facilities in Florida, and I have talked about this, the Compton Carr effect. That's when the Miami Herald exposed an absolutely appalling abortion clinic in Miami. The legislature tried to give the state some power to go in and inspect these places, do things like make sure that the doctors were licensed. And of course, the abortion clinics banded together, said, "No, we'll police ourselves. You can totally trust us." Yeah, right. One of the authorities said, "We have no authority to look into sanitary conditions or whether a clinic's location is near a hospital. A clinic could only be investigated in the event of a complaint or a patient death, and the only permissible grounds for state action would be if the abortion had been done by somebody other than a licensed physician," which in this case was the case. So authorities told reporters that greater state oversight could protect women, but the Florida Abortion Council had gotten a U.S. District Court to strike down a 1980 Florida law that would have allowed state oversight. Aren't these wonderful people? And again, because Barrero had not been licensed, police were able to raid the clinic. He was charged with manslaughter in her death and with practicing medicine without a license, an abortion by an unlicensed physician, and an abortion by an unlicensed physician resulting in death, and witness tampering. Now, speaking to the newspaper about Shirley's death, Barrero said, "God only knows how sorry I am," but he denied any culpability. "I just came to surrender myself. I'm looking forward to the trial to prove my innocence." Yeah, he was looking forward to the trial. Like Suresh Gandotra and Lasenak Polonu, he fled the country to avoid prosecution. Took 4 women dying before the state finally stepped in. Safe and legal. It's all sunshine and unicorns.